atrocities against like Ukrainian people. It's mind-blowing. I'm making this video just to show you what's going on here. We can help. We gotta do something, people. Outside of Kyiv, I kind of had created some relationships for supplies coming from Belgium, France, and Germany at the time. So, you know, from that on, I guess you could say the next month, all we did was just kind of run supplies in areas. We were down in Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, Chernihiv, Trinopol, close to Odessa at one moment. So, you know, at that moment, that's kind of when we started running supplies, heavy supplies to certain areas and started handing out supplies, medicines, aids. We took insulin to Chernihiv. We took rape kits to Kharkiv. You know, whatever we could get our hands on, and we knew that places needed such things, that's where we would go and take them. We were in Dnipro. It was intense because it was constantly air raid sirens. I mean, you could hear the artillery landing really close. Same at Kharkiv. When we went to Kharkiv, it was pretty intense. A rocket landed about 2 blocks from where we were at one moment. So that was pretty intense. When we were leaving Kharkiv, we noticed there was a jet in a distance, kind of like, looked like it was kind of following us. It looked like it was smoking. We come to find out it was a Russian Su-35, 34, one of those fighter jet pilots. And we thought we were being targeted. Come to find out that we were about 2 miles behind a convoy of Ukrainian, a convoy of fuel. So maybe that's what it was going to target them or whatnot. But, you know, it was pretty freaky there for a second, you know, thinking that you're being targeted by, you know, a Russian jet pilot. I was floored by the amount of, well, it all started, we went to Bordanka and Irpin. And while we were there delivering supplies, we were running into these communities where all these pets were just left, you know. I mean, we would be walking through and just get swarmed by cats and dogs. You know, we have room, we have space. We probably could take a couple crates if we see some of these animals. We think we have a location we can take them to. We'll round some of them up. I started getting hooked up with a couple of different animal rescue units. They needed drivers to run animals from certain shelters into Romania, into Poland. Also go into certain areas around Ukraine and rescue some dogs that have been left behind and pets have left behind. Take those to shelters that have been established inside of Ukraine to get the pets their passports, vaccinations, shots, everything they need to pretty much cross the border. Come to find out, you know, a lot of people will pay a lot of top dollar for a war-torn dog or a war-torn cat from a war zone. You know, once again, we come back to the profiteering of war. So back to my last days of Ukraine, after, you know, all those events and kind of feeling like I finally had found my footing in Ukraine and found that I do have meaning here and I'm creating meaning, and, you know, I've blown through my savings, and at that moment I've blown through about $47,000 from donations and other money that was sent to me. You know, I just kind of felt that I'd finally found my place, that I was the closest to my truest self that I ever have been. And maybe this is what the universe wanted to show me. You know, like, hey man, there's other sides of you that I need you to see. You know, you've been wondering and questioning yourself if this is really who you are and what you really, you know, what your meaning for yourself is, what you define as yourself. And I just wanted to show you that all these things that you've been kind of like feeling like you are. But yeah, so I made some friends and relationships with some ex-military people and current military people to train Ukrainians and train civilian groups that needed training for protecting their districts and protecting the checkpoints. And definitely not why I showed up there. And I definitely was fighting the will every day to pick up a gun and fight myself and stay longer. And, you know, but I just knew that there was no way I couldn't sustain myself any longer there at that moment. I needed to go home. I was getting really low on cash. I didn't even have a plane ticket home. At that moment I'd blown through my savings every dime that everyone has sent me, and all the money went towards usually like, fuel, fixers, securing transportation, and market runs. When the markets did open, we did have money. We would go to the market and just clear them out and take those out to the communities and hand out. So I left Ukraine. I went on my way out. I stopped in Lviv, which has become one of my, I guess you could say, my second favorite city in Eastern Europe. Then from there I went to Warsaw, kind of decompressed for about a week. I made some really good friends in Warsaw, and then I went and visited my friend the Cobra in Dresden, where he lives. He was a volunteer that came and helped us for about a month. Become real close friends with him, and he invited me to come, and hang out with him in Dresden. So I kind of did that, and I had no choice really, because I didn't have money for a plane ticket. I was lucky enough to get my one-way ticket over there for $700, and all of a sudden airfare is like $2,000. And like, I hate to say this, but I irresponsibly had spent every single dime I've had there helping people, to the point where in the end I couldn't even help myself get home. I was able to kind of consolidate some cash from some friends, and a couple other sponsors sent me a little bit of money, and I got my plane ticket and came home.
Okay, now the hard question.
Okay.
Keep it short.
Okay.
Think about it and then answer.
Okay.
Did Ukraine need you?
Did Ukraine need me? Hell no. They didn't. Ultimately no. In the grand scheme of things, no. Were they happy that I was there? Yeah. They're thankful that I was there, and just thankful to have a foreigner on their side to fight with them. But ultimately, they didn't need me.
So what was it for?
Well, it was for, because I thought they might need me. I just had this idea of helping, regardless of what that meant. The way I live my life, if there is a 0.0000001% chance my actions or what I do can help benefit someone else, I have to do that. I feel it's my civic duty for humanity to stand for us. I strive to be different, and to me, being different and being revolutionary, to my definition these days, is just be a kind person. Just go to bat for us.
To what extent was your impulse to travel to Ukraine to help about meeting an emotional need of your own?
Looking back on it, it was all fueled by emotion and feeling. It was the whole, but I also want to say there was a reason behind that drive for those feelings and those emotions, even though I didn't know at the time. I had no clue what I would experience and what I would see and what I felt in the end the universe wanted me to take away from this, and it took a lot of faith and a lot of disbelieving in myself in the process, and really you're a mentally strong person, Bryan, regardless of what you go through or what you can do. You're strong, man. You can handle it, man. You're very adaptive. What could be the worst thing to happen? But ultimately, going was completely on feelings. Kids. I didn't want kids to suffer. Because see, I was scared to death that that they wouldn't stop there. Next it'd be Poland. Next it'd be Germany. My son. And I felt like if we don't stop this evilness here, we'll be fighting somewhere else. So that was all kind of steered on feelings and emotions. There was no logic, because after the plan started kind of unraveling, the logic, man, no, dude, you didn't really think this through at all. This might be one of the most stupidest things you've ever done.